Welcome back, everybody. Talopa Lava, Kia ora koutou, here with my friends and colleagues, Pale and Saylene. Last time we were talking about Pacific cultural centeredness in general, and today we want to zoom in on one particular approach or way of teaching and learning, and that's Talanoa. So I wonder, Pale and or Saylene, whether you could just give us an explanation of what is Talanoa, why do I need to know about it, how can I do it with my learners?
Graham, thanks for the question. Talanoa is a Samoan word. If you break it up into the two parts of it, tala is to speak and noa is from a place of zero. So basically it's a way of communicating either one-on-one or in a group or in a large group, backwards and forwards without any referencing of anything. So it's basically coming from a place of space. Talanoa. Tongans have a meaning for Talanoa, and it's to speak without concealment or to converse without hiding anything. So it's a real transparent way of having a conversation. So there's no judgment in the Talanoa. There's no critiquing in what the person is saying. Basically, it's an open space to have a toing and froing of considering of one another's thoughts and feelings and content. And then in that context, it's either taken further or it's kept there. You know, it's really a flexible way of communicating in that real relaxed noa or place of space. That's how I understand Talanoa to be. Now, I often see Talanoa used as a strategy in research or a strategy to engage people in evaluation. And whilst that's been practiced in a Western way in terms of it written in the methodology, but it's probably not always practiced in a Pacific Island way. The sitting down on the floor, for example, in a circle, for example, or with the unlimited number of people. It's like a Tongan kava ceremony. You're not limited to only those you want there. A Talanoa in a Pacific way would be everybody. If the Talanoa is used in a context of abuse, for example, the perpetrator would be there and with the victim and both families. It's still a Talanoa because you're coming from the place of noa. So that's the deepness of Talanoa. But at the very light-hearted Talanoa that we're talking about here in education, a conversation around people sitting around a desk, let's have a Talanoa with no concealing.
No, I like that explanation. I think it's coming to the table at an equal footing so that we come with no preconceived ideas and everyone is equal. I see similarities to akonga. We're learning and teaching at the same time. And so I see similarities with Talanoa. We are listening and adapting and sharing ideas together.
Because Māori have the word noa too, Graham? So you're going from a place of tapu, secret, to a place of noa, which is much more a secular open space. So it's a good word and a good way to appreciate how people think and feel.
If we just take it quickly to a context, say working with adults, perhaps in a vocational setting or foundation education setting, and let's imagine that there's an educator who has Pacific people in his class or workshop or whatever it is. What are some practical things to keep front of mind to do more Talanoa and less of kind of teacher-fronted talking? Like, are there some general operating principles that just ordinary tutors can adopt or think about so that they can make their classroom interactions more like Talanoa?
There's always merit in finding out who's going to be in the room first. There's always merit, and you've got a class list, finding out the Pacific people. What's the status that they bring? What's the culture they represent? So you can prepare your greetings. That's a really cool way to start off that session. So by finding out before then, if possible, that's a good way to start. On arrival, have a cup of tea first instead of your normal class and find out then who you've got in the room. Cup of tea might be 15 minutes, but it's the best engagement you'll have in that whole classroom setting. Then starting off telling them that you're an educator and you've got a degree in teaching. So one of the good things about the cup of tea is find out, again, their cultures, find out how they got there. And through that, you'll start to build a rapport long before you start the class. Even if you can't do that, start the class with a few welcomes that include all the Pacific greetings. Find out in the room how they might respond to that. You can do that by learning all the greetings so they're different and just start with that around the room together. get people comfortable with language. The other thing, again, is to get Pacific students to describe to you some things for them about the workshop. Why did they come? What are they looking forward to? Just get a sense that you have your Talanoa first before you start teaching the lesson. Who did they come with? How did they arrive there? The social aspect of Pacific is as important as the academic link that you're trying to make. Are they New Zealand born? Are they from the islands? The age thing is important. If there's an older Pacific person in your room, maybe he's a titled person. Maybe he's an Ariki from the Cook Islands. Maybe he's a Matai from Samoa. Maybe he's a royal from Tonga. And so those things you'll only find out if you've had a Talanoa first before you start telling them about the lesson that you were teaching.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that we look at our learners as coming with their own experiences into the classroom. That brings that richness. So identifying, just further on to what Pale was saying, some of our learners come with their own experiences. They may come from a church background. That means that they're leaders in their own communities, and it's identifying those things. So the thing that Pale and I start to talk about in our workshops is about this cultural continuum. Pale's referenced that already, where you are with your language, whether you have it or not. Our spirituality, whether we still have that in our families, whether we're island born or New Zealand born, and where we sit within that cultural continuum is important.
Hey, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Let's leave it there for today, and we'll pick up the next one shortly.
Yes.
Cool.